Hello again and welcome to another 140k Morning Glory video, and today guys I'm going to say something that I think we all need to hear. Sometimes we just need to keep calm and be more orc. Now why am I saying this? What do I mean by this? Do you need to get the Commissar around and the Inquisitor and, get rid of old Morning Glory for being a heretic Xenos lover? Well, hear me out. Hear me out before you get the bolt pistol. There's a general feeling, especially I would say in the competitive scene, but it's probably trickled down into the old regular fun scene as well, that the 40k situation, the balance, the meta, it's a bit screwed. And I know I've been doing more of a competitive focus on this channel, and some people have asked, Morning Glory, why aren't you saying more about the state of the meta and all this kind of stuff? And I've very much been keeping the salt levels to a minimum, and I'm going to continue to keep the salt levels to a minimum, because, sometimes you can't change the flavour of the meta. But what I would say is, sometimes you need to look to not the most competitive meta, and sometimes you need to look to the Orc community to they need to guide us through this dark time, the Orc community do. Because they're absolutely fantastic. And when you've got things like Admech Skitarii hordes just eradicating everything in front of them, when you've got Drukhari making you wish for the good old days when Space Marines were the only people who had a Codex in 9th edition. Space Marines are already how are Marines now underpowered? How has that happened so quickly? We'll have to see. My personal thought. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But when you're in a world like that, you see like the Admech players and the competitive community, and they're putting things through the logic engines, and they're crunching numbers, and they're doing the maths time, and they're like, yes, exactly 157.8 Skitarii is the exact amount you need to table every opponent in 2 turns. When you've got those guys, which are like on one side of the spectrum, and then on the other end, on the other hand, you've got the Orc players, who their codexes come out, and they're not there being like, okay, what is the exact number of boys to buggies to the new squig people? What is the exact ratio I need to table my opponent to be the most competitive Orc player I can be? They're not doing that. In fact, that hasn't even entered the Orc community's mind. And to think like that would be to them, ironically, alien. Like that just wouldn't compute. That isn't Orky. I'll tell you what is Orky. I'll tell you what has got the Orc community super excited is the Big Ed Boss Bunker. Now, a load of people have totally dismissed this unit out of sight, out of hand. Because it's like, oh, it's another terrain piece that Games Workshop has released. It's faction specific. It's got a big shooter and a laser eye. Ooh, the laser eye is kind of interesting. It can auto hit with a lascannon equivalent. Woo, it's not really a big deal. It's like, oh, it's fortification and it's like whatever. But then the Orc community realised that this boss bunker, you can put people inside it. Oh, that's great. But you put some looters or some flash kits inside it. That's kind of cool. It's surprisingly durable. And then some mad brain boy, some absolute big mech mother flipper, realised that the teleporter stratagem has basically been copied and pasted from the old codex into the new codex. And that the teleporter stratagem, unlike some of the more modern, actually updated Games Workshop stratagems and codexes, makes no mention to core. And in fact basically says you can teleport any non-monster unit. Non-monster. Not troop, not infantry, not vehicle, just basically non-monster. And whilst this big-ass boss bunker is a beast, it is not a monster. And so technically, rules as written, and I like to think rules as intended for Orcs, you can teleport a Gargant head into battle, filled with Orcs, dackering away. And it's just so funny. Because when you've got, it's just, is it competitive? No. No, of course not. You're never going to be able to place the bloody thing. You probably still have to place it 3 inches away from other terrain pieces. Who knows? It only comes with, like it's just crazy. There was some mad theory like, could you upgrade this with squig hide tyres and technically give it a 1-inch move? But the consensus is still out on that one. They don't think they can do that. They can't strap wheels to the Gargant head. That, they'll try. I'm sure someone will model it. And so in a friendly game, someone will let them get away with it. But yeah, and that's just, sometimes we all need to remember that's the approach to the game. Sometimes. Not all the time. If you're going to come to a tournament, you want to win and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, of course, I get that. That's a totally valid mindset. That's certainly one that I've been cultivating over the last few months with this, with lockdowns coming to an end and me trying to do the best I can possibly do with my Scions, with my guard. But sometimes you need that reminder that 40k can just be orky. And by orky, I mean awesome or awesome. It can be awesome. And sometimes you don't need to take this mad thing that we call 40k too seriously. Sometimes you could just get on the mad sleigh ride and just hold on and hope that you'll be alright. Sometimes, And I think one other thing I would say is, like, if it's just something I'm feeling, like, if you are a 40k player out there and you're getting a bit burned out, you're getting a bit down in the dumps, I can't seem to make it work, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Blah, 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 I'm not dismissing you. But, you just can't get it to work, right? Sometimes, sometimes what you got to do is just get an orc army. Or just be like an orc. Run your guard like an orc army. Just waves of conscripts and bayonet things. Because there's one faction that literally doesn't care what edition it is. They're going to be having a great time. Have you ever met a sad orc player? No. Not even when they were literally equal bottom tier in 7th edition. No. You don't meet sad orc players. It's just not in their nature. It's not in their mentality. And so if you just want to say, you know what, cover your children's ears, fuck it. Like, I just want to crack on and play some games of 40k and I just want to have fun. If you get to that point, then I would highly recommend that you take a look at the old orcs. I would, because sometimes you just got to be more orcs to have a bit of fun. And there's one faction which will go down swinging and lose every single game with a massive grin on their face. It's the orcs, and it's the orc community. And they are a great bunch of guys. I've been lurking over in the subreddit, and it's just memes and fun, and it's all good times. So yeah, I won't go on about it anymore. It's just funny. And I'm gonna put a thumbnail up for this video. It's basically like you've got the one guy who is literally building the Drukhari meta build, and you've got the orc community which is just like teleport a Gargant head for the flash kits. Woo! Anyway, sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry, kind of thing, and I'd rather laugh. Anyway, we'll keep this video short and sweet. It's only meant to be sort of a midweek pick-me-up kind of thing. Don't get too obsessed with the old mess. Don't get too obsessed with what, is being super competitive. Try your best. Do your hardest. Give it a go. But if you're not willing to switch to orcs, totally get it. They're not for everyone. But what I would say is, if you can't keep calm and be more orc, then at the very least, you can keep calm and fix bayonets. And you'll still have a great time. Because I can tell you what, I have done the mass bayonet charge guard army, and it is just very fun taking 300 guys, no upgrades, and just bayonet charging your way to victory. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it for a game or two, or commit to it for an entire YouTube channel and make it your lifestyle. And anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.